Hey guys, welcome back. So yeah, as you can see, we're doing things a little different today. And if you're wondering what this pole is, so this is for my second camera pointing down to what we're reviewing today. So this is the Maonocaster G1 Neo. So yeah, we reviewed a ton of different Maono microphones, including this one. But today, what we're reviewing here is sort of a podcasting interface, audio interface, game streaming interface, a lot of different uses. So yeah, as you can see, I've got a second camera pointing down just so that you can get a really good look at it. My table isn't the most sturdy, so the camera might shake a bit. I apologize in advance. And I don't have the microphone on a boom pole or something. Is just on the table, so you might hear a bit of knocking here and there. Again, I apologize in advance. Let's take a look at the back of this. Is where you get all your inputs and outputs. All right, so I'm gonna turn this around and I'll move the cable away so that you can see it over here. All right, so over here you've got your power button. All right, easy enough. Now you have a USB-C cable specifically dedicated for power. Now, one thing you need to note, it doesn't have a battery built in. You need to power it up either with, a power adapter, or like for me, I've actually plugged it into the docking station of my laptop, and the docking station's USB-C port can power it. But it really depends on your device and the amount of power that your USB-C can output. So if it doesn't, you might need to get a power adapter, or like what I'm doing, I've actually connected this to my Anker power bank. So that's another option, which means now that you could possibly take it out on the road. I mean, I've been using this for hours and hours, and it hardly took a dent on my battery life. It is a 20,000 milliamp hour power bank. So yeah, maybe get a big one. Anyway, you've got, yes, another USB-C over here. Now this one is what you will plug into your device, your laptop, or even your phone. If you look at the icon, you can plug it into your phone and do some audio recording there as well. Really nifty. Now, if you're wondering why I don't have it connected, it's because I'm using these two, all right? So you got two 3.5 millimeter outputs. One is a headphone out like the one you see over here. The other one is a line out, all right? And I'll tell you why in a bit, why I'm actually using these and not this to record this video. And over here, you have your auxiliary input. So yes, you can plug in, if you got a device with a 3.5 millimeter output, you can plug it in here. Maybe play music, a CD player. You got a few options. And you actually can connect your phone if you have a 3.5 millimeter output. But again, you have another way of connecting your phone even easier. We'll go through that in a bit. Now over here, you have an XLR input, which is what this mic is connected to. And then you also have the option to use a headset with a microphone instead of an actual podcast mic. But do take note that, it's only one or the other. You're not going to be able to use both at the same time. Okay, so like I said, I wasn't using the USB-C to record this. And yes, what you're hearing now is this microphone connected to the Maonocaster G1 Neo. And then this one over here, the headphone output, that's going to these headphones, obviously, so I can hear what I'm saying. But also, I've got this line out that's going to the camera so that you guys can hear it as well. Now, the main reason why I'm not using the USB-C is that there's a whole bunch of different functions over here. And some of them, when you toggle them on or off or toggle between presets, there is an audible notification. All right. And if I were to record this video through the USB-C out, those notifications won't go through there. And obviously, because that's the main output to your viewers. So you wouldn't want all those notifications. But just so that I can actually let you guys know what it sounds like, I actually got the line out for you guys. So yeah, for your particular setup, if you're setting up for game streaming or a podcast, don't record from the line out, record from the USB-C. All right, but anyway, let's go through all of the features, and we're going to go through all of them one by one. All right, so yeah, this might be a bit of a long video. All right, first up, you've got your gain knob. You've got three knobs over here. All right, first is the gain knob. Now, this is in relation to the microphone. So this plus the fader over here, this is what's going to control the volume of your microphone that's coming out of the G1 Neo. All right, so if you're wondering what's the difference between your gain knob and your volume fader over here, I'm not going to get too technical about it. I'm just going to simplify, and it may be an oversimplification, but the gain basically adjusts the sensitivity of the microphone, the capsule. It gives it power to pick up voices, all right? So the more you increase it, the more sensitive the mic is going to be, the more background noise it's going to pick up. Now the volume fader takes whatever volume that comes in from the microphone that's affected by the gain, and then you can boost it or lower it. All right, so a general rule of thumb, for me at least when I do recording, is I try not to increase the gain too much, all right? I increase the gain so that it picks up the voice okay, and then I use the fader to increase the volume, and then only if I can't bring it up enough on the fader, then I'll bring up the gain a little bit more, because if you bring up the gain too high, like I said, you're going to introduce a lot of background noise. All right, and the second knob over here you have is a reverb knob, which yes, brings in reverb to my voice. So when I bring it up, you can hear it. It's pretty obvious, and this is still quite low. I can bring it up all the way. So this is like almost 100% reverb. I can bring it down, and it's now back to my fully dry voice. Now you notice that I can actually play with the knob a bit and nothing happens. I'll bring it up a bit till about 8 o'clock, and then now it starts, and I bring it down again. So remember that you have a bit of play here before the reverb really kicks in. And the last one is the headphone. So this is for your headphone output. I've got it up to full, and if I bring it down, and I bring it up again, and now I can hear myself. Now the next one, you will notice this second channel over here. So this is the channel for the other audio input, all right? So you see here, you have your Bluetooth, all right? So if you turn this off, it will adjust the volume of the auxiliary input. If you turn this on, this will adjust the Bluetooth input. And yes, I've actually connected my phone over here. So I'm going to show you how it works. So I've already connected via Bluetooth, really simple. I don't think I need to show how that works. I'm just going to play a piece of music over here. And then it's going to start playing, right? And you can actually see the LEDs. So that means there is a signal, but you're not hearing anything because the fader is all the way down. So I'm going to bring it up. And again, you will notice I'm bringing it up and you're not going to hear anything. It's only after I bring it up a bit more, here, till about, I would say about 2, 3 o'clock. I don't know why you've got that space there where nothing comes in. But yeah, I'm going to bring it up. And it can go pretty loud. But now you notice while I'm talking, the music actually ducks, which is nice. And then when I stop talking, it brings it up again. All right, and now that is because of another feature over here. Now I'm going to bring the music down. So this one over here, so this is your sidechain button, all right? So what the sidechain does is, if you enable it, it detects your voice. Whenever something comes in from the microphone, it ducks the music in, which is really nice for streamers, I would think. Now, if I were to switch this off,
sidechain off.
Heard that notification? So that's the notification I was talking about. A lot of these features have an audible notification, which you wouldn't have heard if I had got it out through the USB-C. All right, so I'm going to bring it up again now, the music. And now as I'm talking, there's no change in the volume. And now it's going to get to a point where you're fighting the music and me. But if I enable sidechain
on,
and now when I'm talking, it cuts the volume. So Maono, that is a fantastic feature. Well done. I really like this. Anyway, we're going to bring it down a bit now. All right, so let's talk about some of the other features. All right, so next up, we have the RGB over here. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to talk about the mute, actually. So there is a mute button here, and there's also a mute for the other auxiliary input or the Bluetooth input. Now, one thing I found really weird was that the mute function, it's not an abrupt cut or an abrupt mute, all right? It's sort of a fade out and then fade in again. And I'll show you what I mean. So now I'm talking and I'm just going to go the whole time and you will hear how it mutes, all right? So I'm going to so yeah, it's more of a gradual fade out and in. So yeah, this is something you might want to take note of. There is no way to have an abrupt cut. I wish you could do that. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this. It may sound kind of nice, but there might be situations where you want a full cut immediately. You can't do that. For the music, however, it does do that. So I'm going to play music right now. All right. And I'll press the mute button. I'll bring it up a bit more. Yeah. Immediate cut. Very, very straight and then back again. All right. So very easy. Now, yeah, I wish that the mute did the same. I wouldn't want it to be a fade in, fade out, but I guess it really depends on the individual's preference. So yeah, now back to the other features. All right, so now like I mentioned, you've got RGB on this, pretty obvious all around it. You've got LEDs here for volume. You've got RGB buttons over here. You've also got RGB all around, which I think is pretty cool. Although I think that's more for your benefit. I don't know how your viewers would see this, but yeah, you've got RGB all around, which I think is pretty nice. And you can actually change the RGB pattern. So this one is sort of a cycle, all right, which cycles over the different colors, both at the front and on the side as well. All right, now if you press the RGB button, it'll toggle between a few different options. So this is sort of a walking green, and then but it changes colors as well. So now it's blue. I'm not sure how well the cameras pick up the colors. And then it toggles between solid colors, blue, red, purple, green, and you will keep toggling. And now it's sort of a breathing effect. And after a while, it'll turn off. So red and then purple, green, and now it's totally off. And then if I press it again, it goes back to the original sort of color cycling between all the different colors. All right, and the next feature is a noise reducer, which can be useful in certain scenarios. My room is really small and pretty quiet, so I don't really need it. But there are two sort of tiers for noise reduction. There's a low, noise cancelling low, noise cancelling high. And I'll show you how it works. So I'm going to press noise cancelling low.
Noise cancellation low.
All right, so now it's low. Now, one thing I noticed that on the headphone output, at least, there's a lot of cutting in and out, and it sounds like a very strong gate effect or a gate processing. But when I plugged it in the USB-C for recording, it seems to be okay. So your main output might still be okay. I'm going to go to high.
Noise cancellation high.
I'm still hearing that cutting of my voice, and if I speak too softly, you can't hear me at all. At least that's why I hear on my headphones. So
noise cancellation off.
So now I'm switching it off. I would say as long as your room is pretty quiet, I would say leave it off. It affects the audio quality. You lose a lot of high end. Whereas here, I realized that I've got good clarity in my voice, so I usually just leave it off. Now, before I go through the most gimmicky part of this G1 Neo, we'll talk about a direct monitor. So this basically enables audio being sent to your headphones apart from the USB-C out. So if I press this,
monitoring off. Monitoring on.
And then now I can hear myself again on my headphones. All right, and now we talk about these 4 buttons. All right, so they don't really have a label on it. They just have different colors. So this is for clip recording. And you can actually choose, and you have 4 buttons, so you can actually have 4 clips. Now, unfortunately, you don't get any audio clips straight out of the box. They're all empty, which is unfortunate. I think it would be easy enough and wouldn't cost too much if they had their own clip, like a applause or cheering or something. That would have been nice, but no, you don't get anything, but which is fine. It's easy enough to record. You can either record your voice through the microphone and have it played as a clip, or I can even play music or a sound effect on YouTube or something. I can just play it, record it through here, and then I'll have that to be able. And I have 4 different options here, so that's really easy. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So right now it's cycling through different colors. I'm going to press and hold, and then it's going to flash white. And now it's ready to record. It's not recording yet. So I'm going to press again, and then it's going to blink slowly. And while it's blinking slowly, you have, I think, about 10 or 15 seconds to record. All right. So I'm going to press this. And now it's blinking slowly. So I'm going to record now. And this recording is going to show up as whenever I play this button. All right. So now I'm going to stop. All right. So now it's cycling again. And then when I press it, and now it's blinking slowly. So I'm going to record. So that's now what I said earlier. And this recording is going to show up as whenever I play this button. All right. So now I'm going to stop. There you go. I stopped it. You stopped recording. Simple enough. And now that brings me to the feature that I personally don't really like on the G1 Neo. I don't really see a use for it. And that's the voice changer over here. So now it toggles between, I think, 4 different voices. You've got female, you've got male, you've got baby, and then you've got robot. None of them sound like what it's called. I don't understand it. Some of it, I think for women, you might find it a little offensive. But anyway, I'm going to go to female.
Female.
And then this is the female voice. Ish. I don't know. Now, one thing, I'm going to switch to male.
Male.
And now, this is a male voice, which I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Next one, baby.
Baby.
This might be the worst of the 4. I'm not a fan. And the last one, robot.
Robot.
And this is the robot. I don't know what robot. It's a very dystopian robot. But this sounds more like a monster, demon, or like a ransom call. Like, I have your mom hostage. Give me $1 million or you'll never see her again. Wow, they got really dark.
Default.
Anyway, if you press it again, it goes back to default. And one thing you realize that whenever you press to change to the different voices, you have to wait a couple of seconds because it'll actually stay on the previous voice before it switches. Like for now, I'm going to default. And then as I'm talking, I've already pressed
it. And only now is the female voice. I need to switch it back.
Male. Baby. Robot. Default.
Okay, and yeah.
You actually, yeah, it took a while to get back, but yeah, you have to cycle through all the four before you get back to your regular voice. Oh, and something I forgot to mention, this first button here, which I should have mentioned, this is your 48 volt or phantom power. So certain microphones, usually condenser microphones, they require a bit more additional power to drive the diaphragm or the capsule of the microphone. So it's nice that you actually have this, because usually you would get that on like proper audio consoles. So the fact that you have it here makes it a lot more versatile and allows you to use a much wider range of microphones. So yeah, well done. All right, so let's talk about the price. So the Maonocaster G1 Neo is available for about 70 US. You can get it on the Maono website, or you can get it on Amazon, even Amazon Canada as well. It's about 81 Canadian dollars. But you know, depending on where you are, I'm sure you probably will get it on your Amazon as well. So the Maonocaster G1 Neo, I think for the price, offers a lot of features. And honestly, like the microphone preamps out of this is really good. I'm using a Maono microphone as well. And from what I hear in the headphones and my test recordings, it actually sounds really good. I tested it with a proper SSL audio interface and there wasn't really much difference in terms of audio quality. So they've got a pretty good mic preamp in there. Other than that, you've got some gimmicky features, which I'm not a fan of. The voice changer, I will never use it again. The noise cancellation or noise reducer, I'm not a fan. Maybe in a really noisy scenario that could be useful, but like I said, if you're in a quiet place, don't use it. So the Maonocaster G1 Neo is a good option for you guys who are starting out, and even if you're established and you know what you're doing already, you're not compromising quality. Like I said, the microphone I'm using sounds really good. You have some additional features here. It's just a good device overall. All right, so that about wraps up my review of the Maonocaster G1 Neo. Now, if you like this video, you know what to do, and I would love it if you were subscribed to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications on our next video. I'm JP, and I'll see you real soon.